Good evening, race fans, and welcome to BSTV. We are at Oulton Park tonight, and we are hosting the GT4 TCR Challenge. Things are hotting up in this league, and we seem to be getting more and more TCRs racing each week. There are 12 of them in this session now, and there are 8 GT4s. Oulton Park, everybody's favourite track. It's near where I grew up, so it's the best track in the world, obviously. And in the booth with me, I'm Pete Bingham. In the booth with me tonight, I have Silent, Not So Silent, Yaz Not Yaz. Good evening, Yaz.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be back. Nice to have you in the booth. Like I said earlier, I think we're going to miss you in the pit lane this evening. But yeah, looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, the pit crews aren't going to know what to do if I'm not in there multiple times each race. Also in the booth is the effervescent Stacey Jeffries. Good evening.
Good evening, Pete. Nice to have you, and nice for me to be back after a few weeks.
Yeah, good to have you back. No Clyde tonight. I hear a collective sigh from everybody. That's good. And on the bells, whistles, and all the difficult stuff is Sam Boozen. Good evening.
Yay! I was still yaying from Clyde, not there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Evening, everybody.
Yeah, I was raising the roof, but you can't see that on a broadcast, can you?
No, I don't have an inside cam from you, so yeah, not working today.
Probably for the best.
Oh, sure.
So, Stacey, Oulton Park. What do you know of Oulton Park?
Well, I visited this racetrack with Z-Cars for the first time this year. So I've only seen it the once, not the full track, but I really did like it from where I was standing. And now you're going to ask me where I'm standing, and I can't remember.
So, which format of the circuit did you do?
I didn't drive it, but I was down there for Z-Cars watching their racing. I'm not sure which track they did. It was some time ago now, but it was a really good track. I do find it a bit on the small side, this one. Not much room for error in my eyes, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, this isn't the smallest of the setups on this one. Foster's is the smallest. That's when you come round the first turn and just do a little bit of a shimmy into the Foster's chicane before you get to Knickerbrook. This one is the Lakeside hairpin version of the track. We've got an 18-degree track. It's a nice flowing circuit, this one. There are opportunities to overtake on this track if you're willing to put your car into a compromising situation, Yaz. And these guys tend to do that with relish, right?
Well, this is the famous track where Yazgate was implemented.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So yes, it's one of my favorite ones. It's one that went down in folklore. Not this configuration though. This isn't a configuration that's used very often. So it will be exciting to see how this goes, how this plays out this evening, and how the guys have got on in practice in doing this version. Like you say, there are a few different layouts to the circuit, a few different chicanes. Sometimes they skip a chicane or two, but yeah, this circuit isn't one that, this layout isn't one that's done very often. So I'm sure the guys are looking forward to doing something different.
Yeah, the usual one is either Foster's, which is the really small one, or the International, which is the one with the International hairpin, which is that button hook hairpin, which is heavily cambered. We've not got that. We've got the flat hairpin at Lakeside. So if we attempt to find somebody that's likely to complete a lap in a GT4, we should be able to talk everybody through a lap. So, who are we going to... Nobody in the GT4. Well, that's just sad, isn't it? We've got Sambleys into Old Hull Corner here, the first turn on the track. You can take a little bit of the curb, but there is a 1X there. We'll explain what 1Xs are later for anybody that's not been an iRacing fan before. This is Cascades. We've already been through 2 turns, but you didn't notice them because one's called the Avenue. Down here, we're going past the lake. The lake is just through those trees on the left, and then this is Lakeside Hairpin. It's at the top of the hill. Otherwise, this would be called Hilltop. Sorry, no. We're now going to go over Hilltop, which is this side of the track. I always got confused with that, even when I lived near here. We head down the hill, and we're heading towards Foster's Chicane now. This is and isn't on certain formats of this track. There's a few configurations. This is quite tight, and you do get people hitting those tyres. This is Knickerbrook. and it's quite a challenging turn. There's a funny story goes with that, which I've relayed previously on broadcasts. Up and over Clay Hill now. Water Tower is this turn here, into Druids, which is that one. You can easily wash out and onto the grass there and disappear off into the wilderness. Then we head all the way down here towards Lodge, which is the penultimate turn on the track. This one is a third gear corner in these cars. Hug the curb, run it out a bit wide, and then up and over Deer Leap, and then you've got the start and finish line right in front of you. Now, this is Tyler the Smiler in his GT4 doing a similar thing. He's through Cascades. We're going along the lakeside now. You can see it through the trees up to Lakeside Hairpin. I don't know what Wobbly's doing there. He's properly gone in shallow there. And then Tyler's going to get it all gripped up and over Hilltop. He's going to have Wobbly's slipstream here, which is possibly a tactically arranged move into Foster's chicane here, avoiding tyres at all costs. That was very clean from Tyler. Bit of wheel spin there as he tucks it into Knickerbrook. And then flooring it up and over. Mind that RWC car on the right hand side there. Up and over Clay Hill, through Water Tower, into Druids. A bit of curb for them from these cars possibly here. Nope, he stayed away from it. A lot of curb on the left there, which helps in getting back on the gas. Into Lodge. Heavy on the brakes, down to probably second. Can't see his gear shift on my screen. And then up and over Deer Leap again. And that's the end of the lap. So, Stacey, did it look like that in the Z cars when you were there?
No.
Was it raining? Because it is often raining at Oulton Park. 18 degrees is probably the hottest it's ever been in the world. What did you have weather-wise?
It was absolutely scorching hot, if I'm honest. I was really
You lie.
I'm not lying. I actually had a t-shirt on. There was no jumper this time.
Oh my god. Right, okay. So, in terms of standings, I'm going to talk you through GT4 because this is going to be interesting tonight. Your championship leader is Chris Shaw, who's racked up 1,399 points. He's not here, which is a threat to his lead because Simon Trendle, who is here, is on 1,353. So he's only 46 points behind. That's including his drop score. So all to play for there. Then there's the guy who may incur a financial prize to anybody that will intentionally wipe him out. Wobbly Kneecaps, who's on your screen now. He's on 1,317, and he's obviously here. He's not that far behind either when you think about it. 82 points behind. No, he's not. He's 78 points behind. And again, he's got a chance of closing in on the top of the pile. Stefan Goebel is he here tonight? No, he's not, is he? So that's another top-ranking GT4 racer. He's quite a lot behind. He's on 1,023 points. And then we drop back a little further to the end of the top 5, which is Rob Venn on 1,000 points, who is also here tonight, although not on track at the moment, which is why we're not showing him. If we move to TCR, the most boring man in the world, because he wins every race and makes it look extremely simple, is this man, Stephen Walker. 1,613 points, who is cheating my teammate, Gary Craig, who is in second, out of winning the league, on 1,205. Then there's Matt Elmore on 912. Then we've got Sam Blees on 888. And Shane Powell on 885.
Yeah, I think that's definitely is cheating when driving that fast is definitely not in the rules. Stephen Walker's really been cut above the rest this season, hasn't he?
He certainly has, and it's. I think we should ban him because he's too good. But one thing to note on here, and something that will wind up a certain viewer, is I'm 9th in this league. Shock horror. I'm on 665 points, and Brian Stalker is on 656 points, so he's behind me, and he's not racing. So, sorry, mate, you're going to lose out. Any surprises in any of that, Stacey?
No.
No.
I was going to say, I'm sure you should be higher because Didn't somebody say that if you have to miss a race to be lead commentator, you automatically get 100 points for each race you don't do?
I heard it was 1,000, but it's just splitting hairs now, really, isn't it? So at the moment, your provisional poleman in GT4, just as we're getting to the end of this session, is Tyler the Smiler. Then there's Wobbly in second and Simon Trendle in third in GT4. In TCR, Stephen Walker is your provisional poleman with Sam Blease and Gary Craig. There is only one car left on track, which is Shane Powell at this point. And I think he's stopped on track because he's not recording any further time. So we'll wait for it to tick over. And I'm going to say, Yaz, who's your money on for a GT4 win tonight?
Oh, the GT4 field is not that large this evening. That top three are just, look at that, Tyler in first, wobbly kneecap. What's it? It's a smaller gap than what he lost by at Donington Park in second place. But what's that? What do you call that? I don't even know what's that. Thousandth of a second. Tyler Newitt in first in pole, and then Weber Niekamp for BSTV Esport Pink in second. Simon Trendle, Team Chimera in third. Chris Needham in fourth. Rob Venn in fifth, and Jamie Wilson in sixth. My money in the GT4s is going to go with Tyler Newitt this evening. I think it looks like he's got to come back to race.
Yeah, and happily you just run through the grid at the same time, which is good. And Stacey, who's your money on for TCR tonight? Can it be on anybody other than Stephen Yorn Walker?
Hey, shouldn't the question be who's going to come second tonight?
Actually, that's a good point. I think we should make second the winning position.
100%. I'm going for the lovely Mr. Gary Craig.
Awesome, that's the right choice, of course. BSTV Sports Green, my teammate, legend in his own right. So I'm going to go through the TCR field. In first place, we have Stephen Walker for Spectre 6 Purple. He did a time of 1:27.076. In fact, do you want to carry him on, Stacey, or do you want me to keep doing it?
You can carry on as you've started. That's no problem.
Some stuff. Cal Hardy's just said good luck to everyone behind him. So Sam Blease will go off second for Alpine Starts Geodesic. Everybody's doing it now on the chat. Third will be that man Gary Craig, who's going to win by finishing second for BSTV Esports Green. Dan Mould, who's been very, very quick, starts fourth for Ignium Motorsport. Shane Powell will go off fifth for Spectre 6 Silver. Arnaud Chanonnier will go off sixth for RWC Racing. Matt Elmore for Spectre 6 Silver will go off seventh. Eighth will be Scott Malcolm, Team Mad Immortal. Ninth will be Mark Draper. He's missed a few weeks, but he's back now, so he'll be at the pointy end, no doubt, for Work God by Result. Russell Cowell, who I'm usually duking it out with at some point, will start 10th for Spectre 6 Purple. Cal Hardy will start 11th for Safeguard by Result. David Ayres will go off 12th for Result Clothing. Ron Pursuit Brennan, or Loverboy, depending on which one I decide to choose tonight, will go off 13th for Safeguard by Result. And Jason Haddington will go off 14th for RWC Racing, and the GT4s have gone.
Well, that was a kick-off start there, and they off and through turn one safely. Yes. Tyler Newitt still in the lead. Just looks like everybody's held station. TCR is going at it now. Who's just going side by side?
Oh, Dan Mould got a bit of a
touch.
He's not very happy about that on the chat, and he's got damage now. He's got a fast repair as far as I remember. But yeah, he's not happy. I don't know who it was that nudged him. We'll get back to that shortly because Gary Craig's under some pressure. Oh no, is this the replay? This is the replay. So a little nudge there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not going to go down well.
Was it Shane Powell?
It might have been Shane Powell, to be honest.
We do remember Dan Mould said that he was looking forward to this race this week and hoping for a win. And Shane Powell is having a mare at the moment. It looks like it. He's just gone wide again. So
not a great time to be nerfed off the track, Stacey, because you can't even balance it off with a pit stop.
Not really. That's not good at all. I'm sure he didn't mean to do that. As Yas was saying, it looks like he's having some issues tonight, so it could potentially be too many beers or something to do with the internet.
Yeah, entirely possible, but we'll reserve judgment on that. So at the front of GT4 at the moment, Wobbly sets off in pursuit of Tyler, who's clearly outclassing him by a long way. Wobbly's got to pull his very short socks up, but he is forging a gap behind him to Simon Trendle. And Rob then is in Simon's tow, absolutely, and may attempt an overtake at some point soon because he's right on him.
yeah, it will be interesting to see how this race plays out. There's not too many long straights to be able to get a tow or save some fuel. It's very stop-start around here, especially with the layout that they at tonight. So it will be interesting to see how the pit stops play out, how the guys approach this. As I don't think you can really take your foot off the gas here anyway without.
Oh, sorry.
some trouble.
That is a big upset. That's Sam Blease off. Is that at Knickerbrook? I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be Foster's chicane. No, he's made it through the first bit. Oh, his front. He's hit the tyres there. Look. And
Yeah.
Is that a hardware failure or something?
No, he's hit the inside of the tires there, and as we know, the tires aren't tires; they're basically a brick wall.
Yeah,
He's just cut it too much and hit that wall. Then it just pulled his steering to the
Right.
left.
Yeah, I think
Now this-
Yaz has got that absolutely perfectly called. Oh, that's a bigger hit than I thought, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, who put those tyres there? Totally annoying.
Oh, hang on, it's all going wrong here in TCR. Who's that disappearing off in the distance?
That looks like Matt Elmore going sideways.
Yeah, you're right. Matt Elmore it is.
Yeah,
that
that's the
was
same
an
place
awesome
where
trick.
Dan Mould went off, but it looks like he kept it out of the wall there. He'd be interesting to see if he also got a nudge or if he just went off by himself.
It looked like he just lost the back end, which is, as Gary Craig always tells me, very, very difficult in this car because all you do is floor the gas and it pulls the car straight again. But I suppose if you hit the gas too hard, then you get a load of wheel spin and drift out anyway. So we'll have to have a little review of that at some point. Meanwhile,
Little replay because it was an awesome drift.
it was. Here's the GT4s going up and over the Elite now. Wobbly getting under pressure now from Simon Trendle, who's managed to close that gap quite quick, Stacey. You're a BMW fan, so this must be playing right into your wheelhouse.
100%. As much as we love Tyler Newitt, I don't like him to win because of the car.
And well said. So back here, Jason Haddington in desperate pursuit of Matt Elmore, who ejected himself off the track not that long ago. Scott Malcolm, I think, is the car behind him, and Scott dropped positions. Yeah, he's been moved backwards.
Yeah, he's moved a couple of positions backwards. I know that Scott and Dan Mould were quite excited about this race coming this week. Both of them in the interviews last week said they're going for the win here, and it looks like both of them have jinxed themselves by bringing up the rear of the TCRs.
Yeah, it's a bit sad that. I'm not sure why Scott's so far back though. That's a bit of a mystery at the moment. We'll see if we can figure out how he's lost 4 positions since the start. We have lost Sam Blease from the race, which is very sad. He's not rejoined. I don't know why he's not rejoined. There's nothing to state that. Stephen Phillips on the chat. Good evening, Stephen. He says I can hear you giggling. Checking in, but not from New York. That's an intriguing statement to make, isn't it, on a chat? So, where do we think Stephen Phillips actually is? For those of you that don't know Stephen, he races V8s in our leagues. and very well at that. So where do we think Stephen Phillips is? He normally lives in New York, so where am I going to guess I think he's in a questionable nightclub in Bangkok. Any advances on that?
They say man who walks through revolving door backwards is going to Bangkok.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. I like that. That's good. That's like, oh dear, funny stuff.
But yeah, so yeah, this race is really.
Sorry, still laughing at it. That's a good one. Yes, I like it.
Well, it looks like the TCRs are behaving themselves up front there, just getting in this train and following each other around. Jamie Wilson is falling off the back a little bit behind Chris Needham. And then in the TCRs, after all that action that we saw, the front two have pulled away. Stephen Walker and Gary Craig. There's a bit of a train behind Arne Chenanier.
Oh.
And
Jason.
that is Jason Addington.
It is. That's another car going wide. These TCRs are finding it hard to stay on the track tonight, Stacey.
They certainly are. Someone's dropped some oil somewhere.
Yeah, all around the track apparently. Stephen Phillips has really confused me. So I was saying he's in a questionable nightclub in Bangkok. He says Thailand actually. Last time I checked a map, Bangkok was in Thailand. I have worked there, so that's very strange. Why would you say that? Don't know.
I think he's going around in that revolving door.
I think he is. Yeah. That is funny, by the way. Copernicus say, man who goes backwards through revolving door, Bangkok. So funny. I'm going to be giggling. Oh, wobbly! Yes! Oh, no, he's caught it.
Wobbly being wobbly. Yeah. So the gap there it's not more than half a second up front there, and not much further behind is Simon Trindle. So that GT4s are not going anywhere. They just stuck together in that 6-car train. The TCRs, however, Stephen Walker, Boarding Walker is really pulling away at the front. Gary Craig is managing to not let that gap get too big. And then there's quite a distance between them and the rest of the pack, and then just a massive train that we see here. Following that, hopefully no one else goes off and they can keep going, pull each other back into the train. We've seen some really good racing this season, where the guys have gone back and forward. This track doesn't really allow for that side-by-side racing. It's just a little bit too narrow and a little bit too tight, and the corners just come fast and furious after each other. But at least we want to see them follow each other and pile the pressure on the one in front of them into making mistakes and then trying to make those passes. Let's hope they can all get back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Phillips says Yaz and I are on the same page. Catch up, Pete. That's from my ex-teammate. You know, when you've got teammates and friends like I've got, who needs enemies and stuff? You know, you just get lots of abuse, don't you, Stacey? It's just not fair. Anyway, so Gary's not letting Stephen get away at the front of TCR. There is a bit of a gap, but we know that Gary is excellent at pit stops. So, do we think that he'll manage to recover that gap or not?
Yeah, of course he will. Come on, Gary.
I thought you were going to sing your song then, but never mind. We'll move on. We're on curb cam now. It's one of the better ones. Oh, here we go. Ow.
Ooh.
Ow.
Ooh.
It's a good curb cam, this, actually.
Pete, if I can, I'm just gonna quickly do an internal note. Clyde, the curb cam is when the car arrives to the corner, not after.
Yeah. That's class. That's funny. So it's still tight here at the top of GT4. We see after pit stops usually with GT4s they split up a little, but we're not there yet. These guys are on 50% tanks. I don't think we've got any McLarens in the field, so yeah, they're all on 50. 51 for McLarens, I think it is still. I'll probably be corrected by somebody. Rob then getting dropped a little now by the top 3, which is interesting. He's usually super smooth and right up there and in the toe. In the distance there, Chris Needham, who we've not mentioned so far tonight, he had a very good qualifying. He qualified in 4th. He's dropped 1 position to Rob. And then Jamie Wilson, which is a surprise to me, Stacey. In the distance there, just coming round Old Hall as these guys go into Cascades, I expected him to be further up, probably where Simon is.
100%. He's definitely out of position for sure.
Yeah, usually a lot more competitive. Maybe he's not managed to get the seat in practice time yet. Oh, this is on now, I think. So Pieman versus Mark Draper. So this is his sister team. These are both result cars.
Yeah, Carl's putting a good bit of pressure on Mark Draper there. Really staying up where he likes it, up the rear. Coming up to the hairpin now. Let's see if he can make this close this gap even further.
Sorry, wasn't expecting that. Family show and all. I don't know how you said that without laughing.
Is it though?
To be perfectly honest.
Is it though? Family show? I don't know. Coming up to the chicane. Ooh, he's
closing on the brake.
Right up. Yeah. Yeah, like I keep
there.
saying these. Well, like I say, this track really the corners just come after each other, quick and fast. It's not such a short track. I mean, it's still 1 minute 25 to get around. Yes, it's not the shortest tracks around, but just there's just not much place to really pull away. The straights aren't very long, and then you need to get into another braking zone and try and swing the car around the corners. So you're always going to see these cars. Into the braking zone, that concertina effect that they talk about is happening all the time, where they just get close to each other and sort of slightly stretch out. But the gap, if the gap doesn't leave more than half a second, you're going to see that happen all the time.
Yeah, one thing that surprised me there, Stacey, was how shallow Wobbly went into Lakeside Hairpin and how shallow he came out of it, but he still managed to maintain the gap to the car behind. Any idea why he's able to do that?
Got skills, Pete. He's got skills.
Wobbly.
And he's in a good car.
Okay, Stacey, you're going to be banned from the booth.
You are going to be banned from
Yeah.
the booth. I mean, we can't compliment Wobbly. It's just not done.
The only skill he's got is to lose against me, right?
Oh, this is true. Do you want to embellish on that, Sam? Just while you're here, do you want to tell us? Go on, go for it.
There's not much to say. I'm just faster than him. We can't keep up. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a man's
It is
car.
quite a simple equation, to be honest. Wobbly's just not as good as Sam.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say.
Dan on the chat, not happy at all. Sorry guys, but that was a joke. Not happy about getting a shunt from behind there so early into the race, or at all. So that's what the protest system is for. So we'll see what happens for race direction after this, or for the stewards rather. Meanwhile, in the race, Simon is still on the back of Wobbly, but he's not managing to effect pass yet. Is that because he's waiting, Stacey, or is it because he's not managing to place his car in the right position yet?
I don't think he's placed it in the right position at the moment, but it's really early in the race. I don't expect him to make a move just yet. That's my personal opinion.
No, it's a good opinion to have. We are only a quarter of an hour in so far.
Yeah, early days yet. It's like the same with Tyler. Some people would expect him to be flying well ahead now. He's just chilling at the moment. I reckon Tyler's got more in him as well, for sure.
Yeah, we saw Scott Malcolm there, still tailing Loverboy, and now we're on the result handbag at dawn competition, whereas the GT4s are all pretty close still. The top 5 here are, is it 5? No, it's top 6. Top 6. This track's keeping the GT4s together, really. You can throw quite a big blanket at the moment over all 6 of them. Sorry, I thought Simon was going to do me a favour and take Wobbly out for a second. But not the case. Do better, Simon. Look at the way that Wobbly gets. He pulls a gap on Simon coming out of Lakeside Hairpin. I still don't understand that entirely. Someone's going to have to explain it.
Yeah, I think that you must remember that because this is a, they're all in control of their own setups. It could just be a difference in setup where Wobbly's going a little bit faster on the straight, maybe running a little less wing, and then so Simon's going to catch him up, and here we go.
Yeah, this is.
So Simon's going to catch him up in the corners, in the slower areas. But as soon as there's a little bit of a straight, you're going to see Wobbly pull away a little bit. That could be just due to the way that they've set up their cars differently, where they want to gain that time, either through the slow corners or on the longer straights. And sometimes these things can always even out in lap times, but it just gives you a different feel of drive. Some of the drivers may just enjoy a looser car around the corners, where some want to feel a little bit more downforce in that corners, and so that it could just be down to that you're seeing that gap opening and closing between corners.
Yeah, and I'm going to start some controversy now because we were just watching Shane Powell, otherwise known as the Dan Killer, trying to effect a pass on Arnaud Chenonnier, who you have to say is doing remarkably well. He's third in TCR right now, third, and I think it's only about his second, possibly third race in the TCR. Wobbly. Well, somebody needs to retarmac the track for Wobbly, Sam. Have we got a camera that far out that we can see him that far off track?
No, he's too big to. Well, I'm not gonna. He's too fat.
Yeah, I think we're only gonna capture him that far off track with.
He's taking a good one this time.
He is, yeah. If you're gonna be that far off track, Wobbly, we're gonna have to use blimp cam to show the entire race. So anyway. Jamie Wilson now closing in on the back of Chris Needham. There is opportunities to pass in turn one, isn't there, Sam? Yaz. But you've got better chance into one of the hairpins, or put another car offline into a chicane somewhere. Yeah,
it's one of those. This is, around here, you really gotta wait for someone to make a mistake or try and force a mistake. There's not really many just easy passing opportunities here. It's gonna come down to someone just getting it wrong to be able to make that pass, and I think that's what Simon Trendle is waiting for behind Wobbly, is that he's not trying to make the pass because it's not one of those places that the lap times are very similar, so it's not just a case you can pass and drive away into the distance. He's gonna have to wait for something to happen.
No, we've just seen Mark Draper pit the car there for his scheduled stop, you'd expect. Reasonably early, in my opinion, but never mind. Obviously, thinks it's an advantage.
Yeah, that is quite early of a stop there. Maybe it was just to get out of the dirty air or the mix that he was in there, to get himself some open time on the track and just try and put in some clean laps. Perhaps he was being held up. I don't know who he was behind before he came into the pit stop, but maybe he just feels he could go a little bit faster if he wasn't being followed.
And Stacey, do you think that Tyler's stacking him here or not? As in backing him up?
I'm not sure what he's playing at, because usually, as I was saying earlier, Tyler's flying, he's pulling away, he's got a huge gap on the go. Perhaps maybe he's really struggling with the track tonight.
Some traffic here.
He might be. It's unlikely because we've raced this track many times, that he's struggling on a track like Oulton. Scott Malcolm there has been a lapped car in front of Rob Venn now. Gets a flash for his trouble there. Rob clearly thought he was going to get past at some other point earlier than that. And Chris Needham follows him through. And again, have we seen Scott Malcolm to pit road? or
Yep.
is he just
He
falling
wasn't.
back? Yeah, he's already been in.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
with Mark Draper. Came out behind
right.
Mark Draper.
Yeah, and Ron Pursuit is also in the pits at the moment as well. Let's see where he comes out. He was immediately in front of Scott Malcolm. Ooh, that's a strange line into there from Dan Killer.
Yeah, he was looking to try and make the move there, and had to just check himself before going in there, and that's why we saw that compromise line.
Yeah, and Stacey, Dan Killer or Mold Murderer?
Oh.
What do you reckon?
Mold Murderer sounds better, actually.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm just trying to be controversial. I don't think any of it was intentional, but it makes me laugh either way.
Yeah, I don't think it's making Dan laugh at the moment. That he was really looking forward to this race and really only taken out in the second corner. I'm sure he would be really unhappy about that. Through no fault of his own, he was just a passenger there and just got a little bit of a nudge from behind. It's really unfortunate. I was looking forward to seeing what he could do around here.
Yeah, it removed his sense of humour quite quickly, I think. So this is Mold Murderer still trying to get a pass done on Arnaud. Is he going to try the cut back here? He is. Is he going to get enough drive? Nope, because he's had to tuck back into the slipstream there. He might get a run. No, he's having to tuck back in again. You see, it's what you were saying, Yaz. There's not enough straight to make an opportunity most of the time, is there?
No, it just isn't. And we were talking about what's happening here. If Tyler was backing up the field, and I'm wondering if what he's finding. I know he's always thinking about what the person behind him is doing, and perhaps what he sees is it might be that Wobbly is saving some fuel. So all he's doing is doing the same. And because no one's trying to make a move to get past. It's very hard to get past here. So I think he's also just stepping off the pedal a little bit, making it a little bit light, saving some fuel with the guys, and sort of giving themselves options in terms of when they're going to pit.
Yeah, and pit stops I think are going to be the thing that defines this race somehow, because we're not seeing a great deal of overtaking. We're seeing Shane Powell trying to go around the outside of Arnaud at Lakeside Hairpin, which is what we're heading towards now. He's pulled back onto the optimal line again, and he's pulled it alongside, but he has to give best, and if he gives best too much, Stacey, Carl's going to slip into that little gap that he creates.
Yeah, that's.
I think Carl's. Sorry, yes.
No, go for it.
Go on, Stacey.
For it.
No, let's go. Go. You were saying?
Everybody's been terribly polite, so I'm going to do it. So yeah, slipstreaming down there. If Shane's off line rather, Stacey, he's going to leave a door open, right?
Well, as I was going to say, I think Cole's actually just getting close. Not too close, but enough waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Yeah, and I think mistakes are what's going to make your positions in this one. I don't know how long we're going. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say pit stops aren't working because, of course, Martin was in front of Scott Malcolm, I believe, before he came in. So he's back behind him again. So clearly, pit stops are not a good thing for trying to jump spaces for some people.
Why does it look like Martin is so far behind him, though?
That was a side by side there that with some contact, but it looks like Sean Powers finally passed. He's gotten through Arnaud Chenanier finally, and that's for podium position that they're fighting for at the moment.
It is, and we've got the same situation now in reverse. So Arnaud trying to go down the outside and then cut back, but it's not worked for him on that lap. Meanwhile, the GT4s are all piling round turn one together. That was Tyler disappearing on my screen. I don't know what you guys got.
Yep.
Which might suggest internet issues or something like that. Wobbly realises his lack of talent and tucks back in. Oh, was that a touch or a nudge? I don't know. Maybe you can't even see him because. Oh no, look at the damage on the. Well, it's a scrape. It's a bit of a paint scuff there on the right rear of Smiler's car.
Pete, I'm glad you've mentioned about the disappearing, because I thought it was perhaps maybe my screen, but I have noticed that Tyler has jumped out a few times and come back again. So perhaps maybe that's the reason for it.
Possible, yeah. It might be that Wobbly can't actually see him at those points and is getting a bit of a shock when he reappears, because I used to do that with terrible internet, and it was Jason Wilson that coined the phrase going full Bingham, which is where I used to disappear for about 10 seconds at a time and then reappear. Sorry, what did I call him? Jason again?
Yeah, again.
Oh, what is wrong with me? Terrible. I used to work with a bloke called Jason until very recently, actually, and that just sticks in my head, so sorry, Jamie. Anyway, it was Jamie Wilson that coined the phrase going full Bingham. This is his teammate Simon Trendle, still stuck in third place at the moment, and fishing for Wobbly to get out of his way, basically.
Yeah, I think that this is going to come down to whoever's going to do the shortest pit stop, and I think these guys have realized it, and that they're going to want to just take on as little as fuel as they need, as little fuel as possible when they do make the pit stop, so that it can be as short as possible, so that they can get. I mean, with this small gap, it can come down to just just standing still for an extra second that's going to cost you a place here.
That's a good point, actually, Stacey, isn't it? Because these two have sat line astern from Smiler for the whole race so far, and if they do manage to save a couple of litres, then they'll save a second, and they're less than a second behind him, so that's going to reverse the order that we're seeing.
That could mean a good race.
It really could, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they do finally pit. Pit lane here, entry is a bit of a challenge. You've got to shed a lot of speed very quickly. I thought Tyler was selling them a puppy then when he was swerving across the track, but it's just the way he takes the corner. Deer Leap. These three inseparable. This is Shane leading Arnaud, leading Pyman. Pyman was racing with Mark Draper, of course, but Mark pitted very early in the TCR league position, or I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, racing position. So he's further back, but having stopped, let's see where he ends up in the race. A million miles in front of these guys is Stephen Walker. We've got to show him for 5 seconds, I think, in order that his sponsors get some screen time. Have we got Stephen Walker on screen at all, Sam? Somebody count to 5. Look at that, all on his own. It's a lonely race. If only he wasn't so good, he would get more camera footage. Here's Gary, who's trying to track him down. He's still got. Oh no, who's that behind him?
Is it Brennan?
Oh, it is. It's Rompursuit. I thought Rompursuit had white wheels, but no, apparently not. Anyway, we have to go back to this little battle because. Oh, here we go. Break with tradition here for Simon Trendle and for his teammate.
Oh, they're coming in hot there into the pit lane, and that's exactly what you were talking about. I mean, that's where you're going to gain and lose time if you need to really attack that that pit speed line as fast as you can without without speeding. You'd know all about pit stops.
Yeah, I'm utter expert at getting them wrong. Yeah, and in your Z4s, Stacey, in real life, was pit lane entry an issue for the Z4s?
As far as I'm aware, no.
Like the inset camera there of Jamie, I'm going to get it right at least once, Wilson, making his way down pit road and out, and back onto the track, following his teammate. I don't know. I didn't see a delta between these two, other than Simon was a lot further forward in the standings.
So Simon Trindle's was stationary for 22.7 seconds and Jamie Wilson for 25.2 seconds. So Simon was as quick as possible. We've seen Simon do very quick pit stops. He might be he actually might be lighter on the gas pedal than what we've seen Tyler. And Wobbly making the move on Tyler.
Well, because Tyler decided he was going to do a bit of rallycross or gardening or something, and Wobbly's trying to do the same at Old Hall Corner. So that's going to put Tyler back on him.
Chris Needham and Rob Venn is now stopped, and now when they come out, we'll see where they filter back in with Simon Trendle and Jamie Wilson.
Yeah, that will be interesting, especially since Simon's pit stop was so quick compared to Jamie's. We'll have to see what happens with these guys. Now, Rob seems to have left the pits way ahead of Chris, which doesn't seem right to me somehow. I don't know why. Seems like Chris was in there for a lot longer, but I don't know his stationary time.
26.7 for Chris and 24.3 for Rob.
There you go. That's why then.
And that's what we were talking about. Those, if you look at Simon Trendle, 22.7 versus Chris Needham's 26.7. That's 4 seconds difference in how long they were stationary. And when you only split by a second or half a second, 4 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, these two are going again, and Wobbly is gapping Tyler. That's Scott Malcolm. These three are still together. A little bit of gap in between them now. I know, definitely wanting a piece of Shane Powell. And I can't work out, Stacey, whether Carl is just spectating at the moment.
Always waiting for one of them two to mess up, and no disrespect to the two boys, I hope someone makes a mistake so Carl can say thank you very much and off he goes.
Because he's driving a yellow car.
No, because it's Carl.
Fair enough. Not that we have favourites on here, but yeah, Wobbly just can't win, it's that simple. So yeah, Wobbly is still together, these three are still together. There's a few gaps forming in the field now that pit stops have started, so we'll have to wait until everybody cycles through this pit phase and then see where everybody's at.
It'll be interesting to see how much longer Wobbly and Tyler will keep going.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of extra laps. That doesn't always play into the car's favour, does it? We saw Jason Haddington pitting. No, we didn't. We saw David Ayres pitting, I think it was. Jason Haddington is also in the pits, however. His teammate, Arnaud Chenonnier, still trying to get back on terms with Shane Powell. Mark Draper is slowly floating to the surface, as it were. He was one of the first ones to pit, and he's already floated above Scott, Malcolm, David Ayres, Jason Haddington and Ron Pursuit. These three, however, too fixated on one another to bother with pitting. They're just wanting to scrap it out, I think, Stacey. I think they're having too much fun here.
Oh, I bet they're having a right laugh. I can hear Cole laughing already.
Are we watching a replay here of Mark Draper? Oh, he's gone too deep into Lakes. Oh, he's pulled it off. No, he hasn't. What's he doing? That's the strangest tactic I've seen. Oh, because the wall comes round there. I'd forgotten about that. So he's gone too deep into Lakeside Hairpin. That's not going to help him because he's now behind Scott Malcolm. We're watching Tyler going up on the jacks for tyres. Oh, they're both on jacks for tyres.
Yep.
this will be interesting to see where these guys come out.
I've got a feeling they've left it too late, but let's see.
Yeah, Tyler's usually a good tactician. This is Simon Trendle, who's in third even after his pit stops. Wobbly is out of the pits. Simon goes through, and then Tyler. What's happened in front? What on earth happened there? We're going to have to see a replay of that, Mr. Race Director. Because that looks very strange.
Oh, and another Porsche, Chris Needham has also had some trouble.
So Wobbly comes out.
Scott's just driven like there was no other car next to him.
Yeah, I don't know whether
further something else has happened here as well.
Oh no! Don't do it! Oh,
No.
that's what's caused the Porsche that Yaz saw to be off track. There's another BMW off track there as well. Yeah, I'd have thought with Scott he would have got a call from his spotter to say car right there. Although whether it was in time or not, I'm not sure. There's nothing you can do in a GT4 when there's a car sideways in front of you, effectively.
He was just sat there. He should have got moving.
Yeah, that's taken half of the GT4 field out. That incident there. I mean, the GT4 field is small. And yeah, that is now another unfortunate incident. But now we've seen.
Yeah, that doesn't make it any better. Seeing it multiple times. I think Jamie got away with no damage there.
Yeah, and now we see Simon Trendle is now benefit from that, and again he's benefited from that very quick pit stop. That's put him in front of Tyler, and now he's in the lead because of that incident. So sometimes you just need to be on the right side of the luck to be able to take. In this sense, he was really tactical and worked everything out in the pit stops to jump Tyler, and then just got a bit lucky there with Wobbly's unluckiness, and now he's leading this race.
Manna from heaven for Simon Trendle. It's kind of been gifted to him the top position at the moment, but he does have Tyler on fresher tyres behind him now, Stacey. It should be a matter of time before we see a move done, do you think?
Would have thought so, but I don't want him to make a move. I want the BMW to win.
Yeah, BMW Stacey, not biased at all because of manufacturer in this particular exchange. We'll talk through TCR lead for a minute. So we've got Stephen Walker. How much is he leading by? 10 seconds, nearly 11 seconds over Gary Craig. After all the pit stops, Arno and Shane Powell are still limpited together. That's going to go on for quite a while. Carl's dropped back a little bit, but I think he'll pick it up. This is for third place, so a podium position is in it for any of these three at the moment.
Job done.
Oh, hello. So I did think it wouldn't take him long. And Tyler has overhauled Simon Trendle. How did that happen? Into Lakeside Hairpin looking at it, or maybe out of it. Gives him a little shimmy and a look in his mirror. And Simon goes too deep. Yeah.
Yep. Looks like he was just too late on the brakes there. And that's what we said earlier. It takes a mistake, which clearly was there by Simon. It takes a mistake to be able to make a pass here. It's very difficult to just sort of outdrive and now he's getting alongside, but he's on the outside.
He's making it stick a little bit here. He's keeping alongside Tyler.
He's got the optimal line there. He's got the optimal line there, even though it's on the outside. Ooh, Tyler!
That was a massive chunk of netcode. I could have walked between those cars without getting touched.
Yeah, and we just saw in the inset picture Tyler looking to his left there. So I don't know what happened.
I could have cycled with my push bike through between those two cars. That was... Yeah. Strange, eh, Stacey? Netcode. It's be nice to get rid of it from the simulator, wouldn't it? But it must be very difficult for iRacing to process that information as fast. Here we go. This is a replay of it, is it? Or is this something new? No, this is the replay, yeah.
This is them coming out of the last corner, up the hill now to the start finish.
Yep, so we're on Deer Leap here. Tyler does come towards him, but that is clear and a lot of daylight between those two cars. Would you agree, Stacey?
No, I don't actually. Now I've seen it again.
Dear, that's funny.
I'm not here to agree with everybody.
No. You're here to cheer on the BMWs.
100%.
Yeah, this has now become a two-car race at the front. Rob Venner settled himself into third place. He was unscathed by the Scott Malcolm incident. Didn't get affected there. So he's now settled himself into third place, 4 seconds back, 5 seconds back from the lead. And now Jamie Wilson and Chris Needham have really fallen off the back of the pack and just sort of driving around on their own through the TCR traffic, I guess.
Yeah, Russell Cowell there, keeping well out of the way of Simon Trendle to let him through, keeping the top two battle in GT4 alive. We've not got that long left, really, have we? We've got 17 minutes left for people to mount a charge on the cars in front of them. Arnaud Chenonnier and Matt Elmore are in pit road, is that right? Am I seeing that correctly? That must be they must be the last, potentially. Or Gary Craig is currently leading TCR at the moment. He owes us a pit stop, but he's definitely gone further than everybody else. There he is, going through Foster chicane and into Knickerbrook there.
He's all alone on track at the moment, so I mean he can make use and try and get his quick lap times in here to try and make up some time to Stephen Walker. But we know that gap at the front was quite big.
Yeah, it'll
so
be difficult.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it'll be difficult for Stephen to lose a 10-second lead, won't it, Stacey? It's pretty masterful.
Something seriously wrong would have to happen, like his whole internet would have to go down.
And that has been seen before, so it's not out of the realms of possibility, but we hope that doesn't happen. Rob Venn a bit stacked up here behind Russell and Matt Elmore. Gary Craig has now entered the pits, so the race leader is in. Stephen Walker has already passed him while he's on pit road, so those positions will be as they were, I think.
You should have got Wobbly in the booth, now just have a chat with him and see what his thoughts are. He's clearly not happy, bless him, but he was doing so well.
He was, and now he's not. And yes, he's not very happy on the chat.
Yeah, I don't think he would be happy with that, with what transpired there. He was, that was really just a move that came over. Scott Malcolm just came across the track there with like he didn't exist, which is really unfortunate. He took the lead out of the GT4 field.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Wobbly drove straight into him, to be honest.
Oh.
That should wind him up.
So looking forward to that interview as well, that winning interview. For him to rub it in your face again is absolutely brilliant when that happens. Anyway, Wobbly, I know you're watching, mate, and you are listening, so well done. I'm still on your team, mate, so better luck next week.
Russell Cowell still trying to track down Matt Elmore from his sister team. These are both Spec 6 cars. Stephen Walker has regained the lead of the TCRs, as we mentioned before. But Gary Craig has reduced the gap. It's down to 8 seconds, but I think it's starting to grow again. Gary's obviously done what he usually does and had a really good pit stop and gained some extra time in staying out for an extra lap. So, good effort there. Good set of points if he manages to finish in this position. We're watching the battle here for, is it 6th in class? No, this is for 5th in class. So this is good points on offer here. If Russell can take it to Matt Elmore, or Matt Elmore can keep his sister teammate behind him.
Tyler is pulling away at the front of the field at the moment, at the front of pulling away from Simon Trindle. He's put probably the biggest gap between first and second place that there has been through the race. The gap between them now.
Yeah, it's over 1.5 seconds. You can just, well, you can visibly see the gap now. This is Old Hull Corner, a little bit sideways from Simon coming around there. And yeah, this is the biggest gap we've seen so far. Simon's got himself a comfortable 6 seconds over Rob Venn, and Rob Venn's got himself 13.5 seconds, call it, over Jamie Wilson. And then we've got Chris Needham, who's a good 20 seconds back from that. At the top end of TCR is the man who drives alone for most of the time he's in the seat, Stephen Walker. He's currently 12.5, nearly 13 seconds now ahead of Gary Craig, who did lead for a bit. It's massive, yeah. Gary did lead for a couple of laps, and is in turn 8.5 seconds ahead of Shane Powell, who, if we get him on camera, he's probably got Arnaud Chenonnier stapled to the back of his car. Oh no, there's a bit of a gap now as Rob Venn overtakes Shane there. Sorry, Arnaud. Got the cars the wrong way around. There is Carl Hardy, who is your 4th place car. And in the distance there is the battle for 5th place, which is Matt Elmore and then Russell. Mark Draper a little bit further down the road. I didn't know whether he'd end up further up the field after pitting early and maybe gaining an advantage somewhere along the line. And he's got 4 seconds over this man, David Ayres, who in turn has got, 10 seconds over Scott Malcolm. Then we move to Jason Haddington, who's no time at all behind him. And then Martin Brennan. A bit further back down the track, and at the moment scuffling with the top of the GT4 field, because that's Simon behind him, and Smiler the Flasher in front of him. Gets out of the way there.
What Martin's doing tonight, but he's not doing very well, is he? Bless him.
No, it depends on how much practice time and seat time he's had. It's one of those pastimes and hobbies that requires seat time to get good, and I know that Martin's a very busy boy in the real world and professionally, so it's not always possible to sit in the seat and get that time in.
Yeah, to be fair, he hasn't done much practice, to be honest.
And
Workaholic.
yeah. I mean, from time to time, I'm the same. Sometimes I just can't do the seat time for work. I'm required to do a lot of work outside of my hours, so it often hits into simulator time. Clearly my priorities are all wrong.
We're coming up to the last 9 minutes of this race now. Everything seems to have settled in the GT4s now. It's going to take either a big mistake or some racing that we haven't seen yet from Simon to be able to overtake Tyler for the lead now. And likewise for in the TCRs in first place, Stephen Walker's up front again with a massive gap. Barring any mayhem from happening, it looks like he's running away with it. Gary Craig has also put himself well into second position, and Shane Powell has that train that we saw between Shane Powell, Shananier and Carl Hardy is also spread out now. So the only cars I think that are there any cars that are close on track at the moment?
Yeah, just Matt Elmore and Russell at the moment, who are fighting for 5th place in TCR. And Jason Haddington and
Scott Malcolm.
Scott Malcolm, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, everything is kind of spread out now in the field, all through the field, with 8 minutes to go. Could it just be a processional finish, or are we going to see some more action? I don't know, but 7.5 left.
Yeah, and Stacey, I mean, it's we go quiet in these races sometimes, but we've seen twice in this race now that anything can happen if people are either misreading what other people are doing or not paying attention to deltas, etc. So hopefully we won't get any of that, but you never know, do you?
Anything can happen in the last few laps.
Just like Thunderbirds, for those of you old enough to know that one.
Showing your age.
I am perpetually 21. Say years. So, what would this do to the championship? So, Wobbly said on the chat that it's possibly cost him the championship, that incident, since he had to win them both. Let's have a look at how true that statement is. Yeah, he's probably right on it. Although, yeah, Simon Trendle's going to pull a gap on him now. And Simon, with being in second place, he's not going to maximise his leap towards Chris Shaw. He is going to overhaul him, I would think, given the amount of points on offer for finishing in first place. So yeah, he's probably right there. It has to be said. That's going to be a difficult thing to overhaul. Stephen Phillips has obviously walked away from his PC for quite a long time because he asked Wobbly on another netcode. I'll let Wobbly answer that one. So Jason Haddington still setting off after Scott Malcolm at the moment, who's well, you can see the gap. It's 3/4 of a second. You would assume that Scott Malcolm has damage because he got hit pretty hard by who was it that really got him? Was it Chris Needham that absolutely hit him hard? I can't remember. I'm sure it was a Porsche. Yeah, it was, yeah. Chris Needham, let's have a look at the front of that thing. Is it absolutely mangled? Oh, it looks pretty unhappy, doesn't it, Stacey? That is a very that Porsche needs more than teacup.
Yeah, that's very poorly.
And then we've got the sympathetic other damage on Scott Malcolm's car. And yeah, Jason Haddington really tracking him down now. 1/4 of a second behind. He's taken half a second out in the space of half a lap, really. Of course, he'll have the toe now, he has, and the aero on that and the manoeuvrability of that Audi is going to be seriously impaired, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit slower, but it still doesn't mean that it's just going to be a drive-by for Jason. Yeah, I think we've seen passing Scott Malcolm is not the easiest thing in the world. Wobbly couldn't do it in a GT4, so I'm sure Jason would be still a little bit tentative to make that move at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good opportunity on one of these laps into Lakeside Hairpin, which is just up here, or pulling alongside into Foster's chicane, but that can be dicey at the best of times, because then you are hoping that the other person is compliant with what you're doing. But he's closed right up on him now. Half a second is the gap. So Scott's doing a good job of keeping away from him, trying to break the toe into Foster's here, over Hilltop. Into Knickerbrook. And that is very, very wide from Scott Malcolm. That's a gift.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Didn't have to try too hard in the end there. Simon Trendle is closing on Tyler.
Yeah, they just got through through the TCR leader there, lapping him, and that's probably it looks like it cost Tyler a little bit more than it did for Simon Trendle. But is it enough to challenge in the last 2 minutes? It looks like we're probably going to have another 2 laps after this for Simon to try and make something happen.
Oh, Tyler keeps disappearing.
Yeah, I think Tyler's just got some internet issues there, just making him pop in and out of picture. In case anybody who's watching for the first time is wondering what's happening, yeah, that just happens when there is a bit of an internet disconnect. You'll just see one of the cars disappear and reappear again. It does become a little bit difficult for for a car that is following, if they're following very closely, to be able to predict where that car is going to come back. But for Tyler, he probably won't see. It won't be any different for what he sees in there. At least the gap is big enough to not affect Simon Trendle at this stage. It's nearly a second, so it's not long enough for him to. Well, the gap isn't too small for him to really affect him at this stage.
Yeah, and Stephen Phillips had gone to lunch, apparently. Well, that's rude, isn't it? Seeing as the most important broadcast of the century was on at that point. Arnaud Chenonnier closing back in again on Shane Powell now. I honestly didn't expect that. I thought Shane would be away down the road now.
Yeah, sometimes we just see a track that sometimes a driver just clicks with the track, and I think that's what we're seeing is happening here with Arnaud. I know, like we said, it's just he hasn't done many races in this car, and it's just a case of he's finally getting to grips with the car, and then you just out of the blue, a track just agrees with you, and it looks like this is the one that's going to give him the confidence going into the last race next week. And then who's that?
That's Wobbly rejoining.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting actually. There can't be. Well, this is the last lap, surely. Race director will be telling us soon if it is.
Yep. Perhaps he wants to cross the finish line at least. Good on him.
Or he's going to do one of his kamikaze moves after the race is finished, like he normally does.
Take out somebody that took him out, maybe.
Well, that would generate the anger of the stewards for sure. He'd get more than his wrists slapped for that if he tried anything like that. Simon's still really pushing. He's not letting it go.
This is the.
It is the end, though.
Yep. And that's it. Tyler taking the win. It's been a while. Hey, Tyler, can give us a smile there. Well done.
There you go. And Stephen Walker taking the victory in TCR.
There's Tyler the winner. Yeah, Tyler the winner giving us a smile before he goes. Yeah, and what does it look like? Jamie Wilson's going to take 4th and Chris Needham in 5th. Well done to Rob Venn back on the podium there. There was a bit of there were a few incidents that went his way. Or should I just say didn't go the other driver's way, and that's made him benefit. Also a good podium for him back on the podium. We saw him do some good races in last season and the beginning of the season. Just dropped a little bit away from the big guns over the last few races, but I'm sure that's a welcome podium for him.
Yeah, and Arnaud Chenonnier had caught Shane by the end of the race, but didn't have enough to do anything about it. Carl Hardy goes straight on at Cascades. Is it Martin? Martin's just minced his car going up the hill at Cascades there. After all the cars filter across the line, and we wait for the race to go official and watch all the silliness. There we go. Oh, he's gone properly into orbit. He's literally vanished there. That was quite funny, actually. Stacey, an eventful race, but not necessarily at all times for all the right reasons.
I think, well, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but that's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be, to be fair.
No. I think opportunities to overtake were limited, and far more limited than I thought they'd be. I was expecting a much more exchange of positions, but clearly it's not a track for that. Yaz, what are your thoughts on that? Because there wasn't a great deal of overtaking in there, was there?
Yeah, I think that we may have been robbed in the last few minutes, for the second half of this race, by that incident. It took out most of the GT4 field, and remember the GT4 field was all bunched up. All six cars that had entered tonight were basically all on the same piece of track at the same time. So who knows what could have happened over the last 20-25 minutes if that incident hadn't occurred. The TCR, Stephen Walker, ran away at the front again, as he does. We saw Sam Blees make a mistake. Jan Mould was a victim of some kamikaze moves there, and I think we were a little bit robbed of what could have been a good race due to a few incidents. But that being said, the results are up. Tyler Newitt taking the win for BSTV Esport Orange. Simon Trendle, Team Chimera in second. Rob Venn on the podium again, BSTV Esport Orange. Jamie Wilson coming away with fourth place for Team Chimera. Chris Needham, fifth, RWC Racing, and Weber Niekamp, finishing in sixth place, classified as sixth place in this race.
Yeah, I think there was a robbery done there somewhere. But anyway, your TCR field finishes with Stephen Walker, top of the pile yet again, for Spectre 6 Purple. A fantastic finish there. 14.8 seconds ahead of my teammate Gary Craig for BSTV Esports Green in second. Shane Powell finished third for Spectre 6 Silver. He made his way forward and eventually passed a few cars, and one of those was Arnaud Chenonnier in fourth for RWC Racing. He eventually got that pass done. Fifth was Carl Hardy, who for Safeguard by Result. Sixth was Matt Elmore for Spectre 6 Silver. For the sister team, Spectre 6 Purple, Russell Cowell finished seventh. Eighth was Mark Draper for Work Guard by Result. Ninth was David Ayres for Result Clothing. Jason Haddington finished 10th for RWC Racing 2, with Scott Malcolm finishing 11th for Team Mad Immortal. Martin Brennan finished 12th for Safeguard. Dan Mould got taken out, as it were, in 13th for Ignium Motorsport. And Sam Blees shattered his own suspension, finishing 14th. Well, didn't finish, but ends up in 14th place for Alpine Stars Geodesic. Quite an interesting pile of incidents in there. Some great racing though, Yaz, and a lot of competitiveness before some crashes that we could have done without. Would you say that's a fair summarization?
Summarization. Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Well, surname in it, so yeah, that's good. I think
Don't Google it. You might not get a return.
But yeah, I think like I mentioned, I think we lost a fair bit of what we could have seen due to a few incidents. That being said, we can't take away the results of the guys who did get results. It still comes down to staying out of trouble. If the dices fall that way and you get a good finish, then that's on you for being there. So good win for Tyler. We can't take that away. Stephen Walker, well, what can you say? I mean, blew the field away once again. Yeah, as he does. But yeah,
absolutely dominant. Yeah.
Yeah, good race by the ones who managed to keep out the trouble for sure. And yeah, I guess everybody will just be looking forward to next week.
I would think so. Yeah, I'm one of those people that kept out of trouble tonight and drove a winning race in the end. Was Tyler Newitt? How are you doing, Tyler?
Hello, I'm good, Peter. Thanks.
Peter, or is it Sunday? So, Oulton Park has delivered for you again. I think you won here the last time, didn't you, in the GT4s? Different track layout, wasn't it?
Rather infamous incident last time in the GT4s that we won't mention.
Oh, that's right. I'm glad I walked headlong into that mistake. But tonight, different story. What was your in-car view of Wobblygate?
I heard Wobbly yelling in the chat, and then I saw smoke up ahead, and I thought, maybe I can win this after all. It was...
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it was, if you would have asked me which race I thought was going to be my first win of the season, it wasn't this one, because Wobbly was well and truly clear of the field in terms of pace. So, yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah. I think I'd agree with that. He clearly had a lot of pace around here. At the start of the race, you led for quite a long time. Was it the tactics of others fuel saving that kept them behind you, or was it just you were all equally as competitive as one another at that point?
Well, we were all, myself included, fuel saving heavily.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was fuel saving from the get-go. Because too many times this season I've been jumped by Simon in the pits from him fuel saving. So I said, right, I'm going to fuel save. It's a tough track to pass. And believe it or not, Wobbly tends not to make stupid moves on his teammates. So I figured, I was pretty safe as long as Wobbly was behind me. And, we were talking and making sure that I wasn't backing him up too hard into Simon. I think we definitely had the two quickest cars. So it was just a matter of kind of making sure we stayed in front and making sure we saved enough fuel. And then, of course, when I was trying to get the overcut done, Jason had a moment while I was lapping him, and I went off track, and it cost me about a second and the spot to Wobbly. So I think I would have stayed ahead of Simon in the cycle had that not been the case. But as it was, I came out just behind him and had the pace to make it happen.
Yeah, I think he was closing on you at the last bit of the race, but that might have been easy enough to guarantee yourself the finish. I'm not sure. But a great race tonight. Back to your winning ways, as it were, because you hold that number one car for a reason. Are you looking forward to Suzuka? It's the last race of the season. I don't think you're going to win the league, short of a minor miracle. That may well be Simon's to give away next time out, in theory, if he ends up in the same situation as Wobbly this time out. But Suzuka, I know that me and you have raced there many times in a number of different cars. It's an evolved track on iRacing now, isn't it? It's not what it used to be. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, I had a really good battle there with Kevin and Roman from Mika last time. So
yeah.
Hoping to get another one like that. But with the pace that Wobbly's found in that BMW, I don't know that that's going to be the case. But regardless, at least I should have a teammate up there with me this time, which will be nice. So, yeah, it should be fun. A nice way to round it out. Obviously, didn't do enough races to have a say in the championship, and went off too many times when I was here. So yeah, it's just been good to, nice to grab a win, and nice to be back in the thick of it.
Great stuff. And any thanks you want to give on your victory night?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to BSTV and BSTV Sports, Rob and Gary and Wobbly for being in the chat. I do feel bad for Wobbly because he was plenty quick enough to win that one, and no fault of his own there. But yeah, thanks to you guys for putting on the stream. Thanks to Yaz and Stacy for turning up to do commentary with you, Peter, and thanks to Sam as always.
Excellent stuff. Our victor tonight for GT4, Tyler Newitt. Okay, so for your interview pleasure, Yaz, Rob Venn, I'm going to invite into the booth. So over to you, Yaz.
Good evening, Rob. Well done on your podium.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lucky one, but yeah, it was a good race.
Yep. Back on the podium after a while there, I'm sure you appreciate it. Yes, like you say, it's a little bit lucky, but you've put yourself in the lucky position to be up there. From your view, did you get any view of the big incident that occurred that took out quite a bit of the?
No, I arrived a bit late, so I only saw sort of Wobbly in the sand trap. So yeah, which is unfortunate. He was bloody unlucky from what I could hear. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's just better to arrive later. But yeah, so you haven't seen the podium for a while. These guys at the front, they've been super quick all season. Being back, how's that been, trying to chase the pack through the season? I mean, we haven't spoken to you in a while. So chasing this pack at the front has been quite a tough task.
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult. Feels like the sort of level of the league's gone up because we've had we had likes of Chris moving across to the GT4 and stuff like that, and it's sort of brought the level up a bit. I think it's almost pushed Tyler on a little bit as well because I think he's got a bit quicker. And then Wobbly's just got awesome now, so yeah, it's quite scary.
Yeah. And does that mean that you also putting in a little bit more time into your racing to try and sort of close that gap? Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to, and then you obviously sort of play with your rig a little bit in some of your settings and see if you can find something there. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I sort of probably went off course a little bit mid-season, but yeah, sort of come back and it got a bit quicker now. It feels like so. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, I mentioned on the broadcast. I'm sure you're quite happy to be back on the podium again. Very well done. It's not just because things happen. You do put yourself in the right positions to be able to make that happen. So well done on your podium once again. And hopefully, what's this one race left in the season? You can make it count at next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Suzuka. Yeah, it's a really nice track to drive in the GT4. Yeah, in the Porsche. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, good on you. Well done again. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, yeah, thank you to you guys and yeah, the rest of the team and the guys on the Discord and yeah, and everyone who races and stuff like that because it's good fun. It's a really good league.
Well done. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got 2 more GT4s in the waiting room at the moment, and I'm going to intercept Jamie Wilson, who finished 4th tonight. Jamie, I expected you to be A, further up the qualifying order, and B, further up the finishing order, actually. I had good mental money on you tonight. Lack of seat time or just a car track combination that didn't work for you tonight?
All of the above, I think, is the answer to that. No, I had a very interrupted preparation today, so was just in at the deep end basically, and yeah, it wasn't so much the car track combination. It was very, very cold, and Simon and I both just couldn't get any sort of grip out of the fronts in particular. We were really, really struggling the whole time. We didn't change tyres just because we didn't want to go through that warm-up again. So, and yeah, to be honest, I didn't come in for an interview. I came in to pass my dry cleaning bill on to Scott Malcolm.
Yeah, I think that he's going to get quite a few of those tonight. We saw that you had to take to the grass to avoid it after you witnessed a murder. Well, you probably didn't, did you? You're probably still on start-finish straight and came round Old Hall to see it afterwards. So
no, as I was coming over the crest, the sort of direction of the smoke made it look like, from that perspective, I had the yellow flag, so I knew something had happened. It looked like his car would be on the right as I went over the crest. Of course, it wasn't. It was on the left, but then he's gone onto the track, taking the whole width of the track to turn around. And it's like, well, all right, I guess I'll just die then. But yeah, anyway, that at least woke me up for a bit. So, but yeah, it was a pretty nondescript race, to be honest. Other than that.
We did note that for the GT4s, it looked very difficult to effect a pass or even get the momentum going to get alongside to do a pass.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. And it's just compounded in this car in particular. Just as I say, we just can't get the tyres to work on the track when it's that cold. Simon was saying that he did another practice session and it was completely different to this one. I noticed that the temperature even went like below 18, I think, at one point in qualifying track temp, which
you don't see that often.
No, that's beyond the range of like the sliders that you can set a session up for. So, yeah, it was a struggle.
Yeah, I did say to Stacey before the race that 18 is quite hot for Oulton Park because I used to live near there. I grew up near there, so I've proven myself correct for once, just once in one interview. It's quite good. I'm usually wrong at everything. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, Simon, for putting a setup together that I just inherited and threw around, and it worked well enough to not die, which was good. And yourselves for putting it on as usual, and Scott for testing my heart rate.
Yeah,
because it can still go that high.
In that case, we'll see you at Suzuka, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Okay, and then the last of our GT4s we'll bring in just for shits and giggles is Wobbly. Yaz, do you want to go to town?
I thought you'd be excited. Wobbly, what happened there? Do we need to ask you any questions, or do you just want to go for it?
I bet Peter loved this one. Peter of Bingham.
Yeah. It was one of my cherished moments. Have you spoken to Scott in the interview room?
I asked him what happened, and he said he didn't had his spotter saying I was on the right, and then I asked him about the relative, and he gave some, no offense to Scott, but some kind of thing like I couldn't have seen that and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I found it a bit easy to say, point it like that. It's fine. I'm not really mad about it or anything. I mean, stuff like that happens. We all have this instance, but at least own up to them if it happens. At least that's my opinion. But again, I'm not mad. It's okay. It happens.
Go on, yes.
Oh, yeah. How far is that? It does affect your championship race. It, with it one race left to go. With the field being that small, it's not such a big loss. But I'm sure you'd be disappointed with that.
Yeah, I figured I had to win this one and then the next one, and I was feeling pretty good on pace today. I mean, Tyler did an awesome lap on qualifying, and I just couldn't string it together like I did in the practice before the qualifying. And I was pretty confident that I was field saving more than Tyler. We even spoke about it in the race. So I was gaining on big points to stay in the championship, and with Chris not being here, and then I jumped Simon in the pits like 2 seconds to spare, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great because now I can finally stop fuel saving and driving my pace because I knew I was like a couple of tenths quicker than Tyler and Simon. So well, in the end, I'm too far behind now to steal the championship win, but at least it's gonna be a good last race. I mean, I lost Suzuka. I think it suits the car very well, and I think I'm Phillip Island quick there. So I'm pretty confident I'm gonna take the.
Anything from you, Stacey? Because I know you wanted to have a go at interview Wobbly.
Mate, you should have won that. As I was going to say earlier, you're still a winner. You did really, really well. If that incident didn't happen earlier, that win was going to definitely be all yours.
Yeah, I'm confident about that. I mean, again, it happens. It's annoying, but it happens, right? I mean, I dislike that Peter of Bingham is now happy.
Yeah. You should be. How's your martial arts going, by the way?
Oh, really good.
Yeah, he's a black belt in Chin-Jitsu.
The stitches are out now.
Are they really? That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's like a week and all the stitches are out. But I mean, I checked it in the mirror and it kind of looks like something only girls have now. You know?
Oh my word! Oh, I've got to come up with some funny names for you.
Yeah,
sorry,
Yaz. Yeah.
Oh, no, do you want to round it out, Stacey?
Sorry, my internet's just going funny again. Can you hear me?
Yep, can
Yep.
just.
So I didn't hear. I just had something, Stacey. That was it.
I was going to say, do you want to round out the interview with Wobbly?
Wobbly, make sure you smash it next time, mate. Take that win. I'll be cheering you on, and then you can just laugh at Pete.
I'm always laughing at Pete because he's fat.
Anyway, well done anyway, mate. That was a good race up until the incident, and yeah, I'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah, gonna be good.
Right, that's him flushed. Right. Right, for your interview pleasure, Yaz, you're gonna get our TCR even winner, Stephen Walker.
Hello, everybody.
Well done again, Stephen. We're getting used to this. You running away at the front of the TCR field and boarding yourself all on your own. Do we even have to ask you what it's like? Because we didn't see you anywhere through the race because there was just nothing happening up front there. You were just putting a massive gap between yourself and the rest of the field. I guess you just like this track also?
Yeah, the hairpin I don't like. The rest of it's okay. So I was just happy to qualify on pole, and then I could try and. Well, yeah. I mean, Sam got unlucky. I think he clipped the barrier, so I wasn't expecting anything to what happened. So it was unlucky again. So yeah, I enjoyed the race. It was okay. I'm knackered, trying to concentrate and not hit the tyre barriers myself. Just tried to keep my pace as best as I could because I know Gary is quick.
Yeah, there was a little stint there where Gary was about 2 seconds behind you and keeping pace, but then at some point you decided to use the throttle at full power and just ran away. Well, I guess this now really stacks up for you going into the last race of the season and for the championship. How do you feel about the way that the championship has gone so far?
I wasn't expecting, and I keep saying it, but it's true. I don't ever expect to win the races with the quality of the field. I don't think I'll be as lucky as this next season. So I'm happy to just get through as best as I can and win the championship. Fingers crossed, all being well going into next week, and just take that. And then because I don't think it will happen again at all. So I'll take it. I'll take it as some good races this season.
Yeah,
it should be good next season as well.
Yeah. I think you've got it in the bag already. I don't think anybody can catch you at this stage. So well done again on another victory. We're getting used to it now, but let's hope we can get you a challenge for next season.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
I was just gonna say, like I say, I don't think it will be. I'm not saying it's been easy this season. I don't think I'll have it. Things have just seemed to have fallen my way a lot with people having incidents or battling, and it's managed to break out, and I've managed to get pole position, which means I can control the start and try and be a bit more in control. So it's just a bit of luck, really. I know you kind of need that to win championships and win races. So, I mean, I'll take it while I can get it, and then fingers crossed next season I get a bit more rub of the green. But I'm not expecting it to be. I'm expecting it to be a lot closer next time.
Oh, well done on another victory. Is there any shout outs or thank yous you want to do this week?
Yeah, obviously, you guys, the running the whole thing and the broadcasting it and sponsors and everything, that's great. And the team, I think Shane came third as well, so that's good for him. That's another podium. And just my brother for watching and cheering me on again, as usual.
Well done again. And we look forward to seeing you at the last race of the season next week.
Yep, thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
Hey, that moves me on to interviewing my own teammate. So, good evening, Gary Craig.
Good evening, Peter Bingham.
Excellent stuff. Second place tonight. What do you need to do, because you're the closest one that's taking anything to him at the moment, to overhaul Stephen Walker?
Rocket fuel.
Rocket fuel, right?
Rocket
glad,
fuel.
glad you've got the solution.
He's just quick.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. Even when I kind of had his draft early on, he could just drive away. So practice, I think. Practice or more talent, one of the two.
If you find any bottles of talent anywhere, tell me and I'll buy about 500. Even if it's bottles of skill, I'd go with that. But no, you stayed with him for a little while, and as Yaz pointed out in the interview with Stephen, you stayed with him about 2 seconds for a little while, and then all of a sudden he started to stretch a lead. Is that tyre management, or is that just he's decided he's had enough and he's off down the road? What do you think that is?
Well, as soon as the car's beyond 2 seconds, I no longer have the draft, so it's just my pace against his. But to be honest, I did kind of ease up a little bit to try and look after the tyres, and because the track was so cold, I realised in my pit stop I basically didn't have my tyres hot enough. So I kind of wasn't pushing hard enough was the problem. My tyre temps were 87 and 93, whereas really they want to be about 10 degrees warmer than that. So at the end of the race I actually started pushing again and did a couple of decent laps, but I still wouldn't have caught him, and I still didn't have enough. I was just driving conservatively so I didn't throw it off and didn't stick it in the tyres at the chicane.
Yeah, and you kept out a lot longer than everybody else. Obviously, managing your fuel better and doing more laps on lower fuel, potentially. And you did take out some time from him, but then he managed to stretch it out by the end of the race again.
Yeah, I needed him to have a speeding penalty to make any difference there. I could have taken one click less fuel and got away with it, but I didn't want to risk it because I knew with 12 seconds to catch it wasn't going to make big enough of a difference to risk it too much. But it is what it is. It's one of those things where we've got a really good group of guys and there's a really kind of solid front group, and it's just a case of finding that 1 or 2 tenths, and I can cling on to them usually when they're there or thereabouts battling. But as soon as somebody has free rein to do their normal laps, they can just drive away. So I need to find that couple of laps just to get on that pace.
Yeah, and the last race of the season is Suzuka. We both like that track each time we've been there in both GT4 and TCR.
And GTE.
And oh yeah, I forgot about the GTE. That was the night race, wasn't it?
In the dark.
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, do you think with enough practice you could keep with Stephen, or do you need a lot of time to practice, as in more than you can cope with?
It is one of those tracks where the driver can make a difference because it's a lot of turns and a lot of flow to it. But unfortunately, Stephen's a fantastic driver, so it probably just means he's going to have a bigger lead. But I'll do the usual practice and see what happens. I did enjoy doing that track last time we were there. It's about 3 or 4 seasons ago when I was just starting with the TCR. I think that was my first season. So looking forward to have a go at it now and see what it's like.
Okay. Any thanks you want to make before we let you go? I didn't see Elvis on the chat or anybody.
He's probably in the bath watching, so yeah. Thanks to him if he is watching. Of course, to you guys, Peter, Stacey, Sam, and Yaz for doing the broadcast as ever, and of course the guys who race and everyone else who watches and the sponsors.
Awesome stuff.
Well done, Gary.
Cheers, thanks, Stacey.
Yeah. Congratulations on your second place, Gary Craig.
Cheers, catch you later.
Okay, and last but very much not least, because we're going to have quite a conversation with this man, Scott Malcolm, good evening.
Oh, God, evening, guys.
I'm going to hand you over to Yaz for the cross-examination.
Hi, Scott. Is there cross-examination needed for that one? Talk us through that. What happened there?
Well, like I said to him, I did not see him at all. I got no shout from my spotter. I didn't know he was there.
That's really unfortunate. The timing was just really bad timing when you came past as he was coming out of the pits there, and didn't pick him up and did cost him the win. And a couple of other cars that also came past at that time when you came back onto the track and hit you from behind there.
Yeah, I thought I'd plenty of time to get back on the track there and just misjudged it all completely.
Last week you said you were looking forward to this and possibly winning this one. Did that seem like a possibility at any stage today?
No. Not a chance. I reckon I could have got a top 5, top 4. Pretty. My lap times on that track are pretty spot on. But I was settling down. So at the start of the race, I think I was in 5th or 6th at the time. I don't know if I got a wee tap for the car at the back or what happened, but next thing I know, I'm on the grass and I'm at the back of the pack. So, and you just carry pass in this track. It's that tight. There's only like 1 or 2 places you can make passes.
Yeah. Tell me before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just the usual suspects, you lot. All the result clothing guys, Team Mad guys, and everybody else. That's about it.
All right. It's really unlucky this evening. Hopefully, for the last race of the season, we have a better finish and a better race for next week.
I hope so. I bloody well hope so.
Right. Go well, Scott. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
So on that happy, upbeat ending to the interviews, I have to say thanks a lot, Sam, for your message on the chat about 500 bottles of talent wouldn't be enough for me. Good to know who your friends are. It was a strange race tonight. Very difficult for anybody to effect a pass. Not enough straight in order to get the momentum, and nobody willing to put a dive on the inside. We had a few dives on the outside and a few cutbacks, Stacey, but we didn't have any what you would call traditional overtakes, did we?
No, I mean, for watching pleasure, that was a tad boring. I don't like this track. I'm going to say that now. I mean, I know some of the guys like driving it, but for watching pleasure, there's not enough action. There's not enough opportunities to overtake just to make it a bit more spicy.
Yeah, and we did see some odd moves, Yaz, and it led to the end of some races a bit prematurely for some.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I mentioned earlier, I think we were robbed in the second half of this race. From what could have been. I guess it's one of those could have, would have, should have. We really don't know what would have happened. Had it Dan Mould, who were the others? Dan Mould was there. Sam Blees had a bit of a mistake. Wobbly was taken out. Who else was involved in that incident?
Jamie had to go to the grass.
Jamie Wilson had to go wide. One of the RWC guys as well got involved there. So I mean, you don't know what would have happened, but at the end of the day, Tyler came away with the win. He did mention that Wobbly was a little bit quicker, but at the end of the day, he still gets the win. Tyler, Very well driven that race. He was fast. He was quick. We can't take that away. So well done to Tyler for the win in the GT4s. Despite everything that happened, still a good drive. Stephen Walker in the TCRs again. No one has an answer for him this season. He's taken the championship already as it stands, and he's just showing he's a class above the rest at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we'll get a more exciting race next time out at Suzuka. In terms of the championship, Chris Shaw will have been hauled in for sure because he didn't turn up. And Stephen Walker will just have been doing a bigger strides towards winning the TCR League. In terms of what we've got coming up for you, on Sunday we have ITCR at Donington National. That's going to be quite an intense race. I'll be broadcasting it again. So anybody who wants to join me in the booth, Yaz, Stacey, are you racing, Yaz? I can't remember. Did you race that one?
Which one is that?
ITCR.
No.
No, you don't do it. So you're more than welcome to join us in the booth. It should be a good triple header, 3 20-minute races for your viewing pleasure. They are always fraught with excitement. All the small tracks. Some comments about how not technical and challenging they are. However, they do lead to some exciting racing. In the beginning of September, on the 1st of September, we're at Suzuka, as we've already said tonight, for the last round of Season 5 of this league. That will be excellent. I'll be in the booth again, hopefully with Sam, Stacey, Bill and Yaz. And then on the 4th, which is a Saturday, we have V8 ESC also at Suzuka. How ironic. For the sprint feature race, 30-minute race, followed by a 60-minute race. That will be excellent. V8s at Suzuka are always fantastic. Follow us on YouTube and Twitter. I just have remembered that we need to call this Drive of the Race meeting, don't we? That I never seem to be able to win. So I'm not going to call mine yet. I'm going to see what you lot do. I'm going to put Sam on the spot first. Who's your driver of the evening, Sam?
I will go with Steven this time. There's nothing more to say.
Yeah, it was a dominant victory, it has to be said. So, okay. So that's one for Steven. Stacey, who's your driver of the evening?
Don't even need to think about this one. It's Wobbly for sure.
Right, okay. That's the lowest finishing driver of the evening I think we've ever had. He finished so low he almost dropped off the leaderboard. It's only because it's Wobbly that I'm saying that. Yaz, where are you planting your flag tonight?
Well, driver of the evening, I think the one that stands out is, give it to Scott Malcolm. Had a very good. He definitely played a big role in this race. But yeah, I think
right.
I think as a consolation prize, I'm gonna have to agree with Stacey. Wobbly Kneecam drove an exceptional race. I know it will piss you off as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm gonna have to give it to him. I think he was on for a victory, and I think it was just unfortunate what happened there. But it was well raced and just unfortunate. I'm gonna have to give my driver of the day to him.
That came out of left field, and I didn't expect that. I think mine's going to be on the basis that he was vying for the lead a few times and didn't actually. Well, no, I'm going to have to do this. Sorry, I'm going to have to vote for Tyler because yeah, he's made it work over the BMW boys and kept himself out of trouble. Stayed in a leading place the entire race and taken home the honours. I've got to do that. I've got to give it to Tyler tonight. So you can see where it's all panned out on the screen. Simon and Stephen with joint top honours at the moment. Chris Shaw, Gary Craig, Lee, me, amazingly. Rob Venn, they've got a big comedy vote, something. Rob Venn, Shane Powell, Stefan, and Weber, Wobbly, all on 2 points. So, all to play. What, did they win anything? I can't even remember. Is it just bragging rights? Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's the end of that. I'm going to say goodnight now after reminding you that we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, probably somewhere else. So follow us and don't miss anything. Tonight's been a strange one, but hopefully Suzuka will reinforce our faith in the TCRs and GT4s to give us exciting racing next time out. I'll say goodnight. I'll let the others say goodnight, starting with Stacey. And we will see you next time out. Good night.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully next week we'll have a more exciting race for you for sure. Yeah, take care and see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Good evening, everybody. We'll see you next week for the final round. Can't wait for that one.
And good night, everybody. We should say that we should let Stacey say the ending because she's way better than Pete.
Cheers.
He's probably right, yeah.
I am. All right. Good night, everyone.